Last time we took the fight to the Brutii, defeating their army outside of Corinth and lifting the siege, before facing more threats from our neighbours, most notably the Greek cities and Thrace. The arrival of the Scipii army then is timely, and we'll continue to reinforce Apollonia with troops recruited from our capital, Thessalonica. Adding some phalanx pikemen here should be enough to see off the Scipii. Given the mounting threats, we'll continue our recruitment drive in Larissa and also Thessalonica, recruiting some more light lancers at Larissa. The Greek cities have also moved a navy to block in ours in the Corinthian Gulf, stopping our army from quickly progressing up to Apollonia. We'll therefore have to disembark and go by land. We're going to build a military barracks by Lazora so that we can recruit levy pikemen there and start to build up an army in the north to take on the Thracians. We'll also build a shrine at Thessalonica to help with the economy and with public order, as well as town growth. During the end turn, the Greeks break our unsteady truce by sending a small army to attack Corinth, and the Thracians march down from the north with an army to attack Thessalonica, though they stop just short. We can have one more phalanx pikeman at Thessalonica, because the Thracians aren't yet sieging us, so technically we're not at war. Next we need to divide up our army. We'll take one general and 4 light lancers to help us deal with the Greek city's army at Corinth. We'll also add in the general that we've been keeping at Athens, and that should be sufficient to drive them off. We've gathered our forces into position, but the army attacking Corinth isn't our biggest concern right now. There's also a large Greek city's army heading southeast from Thermon. This is why we've kept the majority of our force back, to meet them in battle, and so we'll move south to the mountains to face them. To make sure Corinth gets dealt with this turn, we'll quickly clear out that army. We'll attack with our small force and make sure the siege is lifted, which it is, before then turning our attention to the major confrontation at hand. And here, we'll launch our attack against the Greek cities. While the armies are of similar sizes, we have a significant advantage in that we have a lot of cavalry, and most of the Greek infantry is only light infantry like peltasts with a few archers. Their Cretan archers will outrange ours and are of high skill, but we'll make sure that that doesn't come into the fight. The Greeks do have a couple of squads of hoplites that could do some serious damage to our cavalry, so we need to be careful of those. They've also elected to fight on top of a large hill, so again we'll have a territorial advantage that we'll need to overcome. We're able to make some progress up the hill, and once in range our archers open fire. We line up our infantry behind them to make sure that they're defended from any infantry charges that the Greeks might throw at us. And we'll also send our cavalry off up to the right to try and outflank them. Our archers are starting to do some damage, though the Greeks are careful to watch our cavalry with their spears. This makes attacking them head-on difficult. After a while though, the torrent of arrows draws down one squad of enemy peltasts, which we're able to pick off and kill easily. As the peltast squad charges down the hill, it becomes more and more isolated, giving us an opportunity to pick it off. We hold the peltast squad in place with a couple of squads of our infantry, before finally launching a cavalry assault into the rear. The fight is bloody and short. With the death of that squad, the Greeks no longer send anything further down the hill, giving us free rein to shoot at them with our archers. We're also able to maneuver our cavalry back into position, ready to strike. Faced with assault on multiple flanks, the Greek army loses its structure, presenting us with plenty of opportunities to strike. Once the light infantry are alone and unguarded by the spears, we charge in with our cavalry. With the cavalry assault underway, we follow up quickly on the front with our spears to make sure the rest of the Greek army is pinned in place and their hoplites can't turn and deal any damage to our cavalry. After a slower start to the battle, the fighting is quick, sharp and decisive. The Greeks quickly panic, break ranks and flee, and we chase them down, making sure to kill as many survivors as possible to try and destroy the army. With victory on the field sealed and the Greek army in flight, we can move on and turn the war against the Greeks by attacking Thermon. With military matters done, we'll continue to improve our provinces, building a trader at Apollonia and a temple to Demeter at Thessalonica. We'll use the last of our money this turn to strengthen our army further, recruiting some mercenaries, focusing on peltasts as we have little in the way of missile infantry, and also one squad of hoplites to help bolster our melee troops. During the end turn, the Greeks threaten us and demand payment lest they attack. The Thracian army also finally makes its way to Thessalonica and lays siege to the settlement, so we'll need to deal with that too. We'll start by focusing on our capital and moving troops back from Larissa to deal with the Thracian threat. We'll also move a general down from Bylazora to help with the defence. Even with this new force, and the soldiers already in Thessalonica, it could be a tough fight against the Thracians. More problems have come up as well, as the Brutii are back.